Well, hey Zaquan, we miss having you in class, sweetheart. I hope you're doing well, and happy Thanksgiving week. I know we are looking forward to our long weekend here. So I am just going to pop on here. I wanted to make a recording for you because we're reading some of the book in class right now. So I just want to make sure that you are not behind when you come back, because the day that you come back to us, we're basically going to be done with the book or finishing it up. So I want to make sure that you're right on track with us, okay? So it's super important that when you come back, all of the assignments are done that I'm sending you, okay? So today and tomorrow, we are going to be reading 2 chapters in class. So I'm just going to walk you through them on the video so we can just read them together, okay? So we are reading page 95 is where we're going to start. And you should have this handout. All right, and there's 2 sheets that go along with it. So for each handout, what we've been talking about now in class is that Andy is seemingly progressively worse and worse as we have been reading through these chapters. So it seems like he's not much better than he was right after the accident originally happened, and a lot of us in class have agreed he kind of actually sounds like he's getting worse, right? Like the previous chapter we just read, that last video, he said, you know, he was hanging out with Keisha and he felt like he wanted to like jump off the bridge into the cars below. And when he was with his psychologist, he told him, you know, I think about death all the time. I really feel like I should be dead instead of Rob. And so he's definitely having a lot of turmoil, a lot of issues right now. Definitely seems depressed, and people are noticing his behavior. And so today what we're going to look at on this handout is that it walks us through. So it says the chapter name right here already typed in there. But then it says the characters involved, so who's in that chapter. Then it says what is Andy doing, or what is he saying, like what's his behavior that is causing people to be a little concerned about him. And then the last box over here says how are other characters in that chapter helping Andy, or like what are they doing to like offer support for him, okay? So we're going to go each chapter one at a time. So the first one is Night and Dreams. So turn to page 95. And that's where we're going to start. All right, so Night and Dreams. This is Andy and Monty just before bedtime. So you remember who Monty is? So Monty is his little brother. All right, we haven't seen too much of him yet in the book, but this is the 2 of them at home just before bedtime. It's January 14th, so it's couple months since the accident at this point. And we know, remember, what does it mean when we see all these lines at the beginning? It means that it's character dialogue, so the people talking, all right? And obviously this is just Andy and his little brother Monty going back and forth. Hey, Andy, would you turn my light back on? Why, you scared of the dark, Monty? No, I just want to be able to see stuff while I'm falling asleep. How are you going to see stuff? Your eyes be closed. Yeah, but if I have to open them real quick, like if it was a fire or a robber or a monster or something, I could see what I needed to see. Okay, I'll leave the light on. You get to sleep now. Andy, what? When you dream, do you dream in color or in black and white? I don't know. I never thought about it. Where do you get these questions? Hey, I'm 6 years old. I got a lot to learn. You got that right. So tell me, are dreams in color, like on TV, or black and white, like those old movies that Daddy likes to watch? I guess dreams are in color. That makes sense, don't it? Maybe black people dream in color and white people dream in black and white. That makes sense to me. Seems to me that stuff that makes sense to you don't make much sense to nobody else in the world. Who knows? You may be right. Now go to sleep. Andy, what? Do you ever have bad dreams? Yeah, man. Sometimes. I guess everybody does, one time or another. About monsters and robbers and stuff? Nah, man, that's kiddie nightmares. I have grown-up nightmares about chemistry tests and dragon-breathing teachers and being caught in a rich white neighborhood after midnight. That ain't scary. It's scary if you're 17. Let's get some sleep now. You asked too many questions. Are you going to go to sleep now, too? Yeah, in a little bit. I'm going to call Keisha, and then I'll turn in. When will Mommy and Daddy be home? I don't know. They went out to dinner. First time in a long time. They need to get out every once in a while. Yeah, I guess. I'm not scared, though, because I got my light on, and I got you in the next room. Oh, wow, you got the mighty Andy. You got Andy, the mighty protector. Yeah, and if that don't work, I got my teenage warrior space soldier. You sleep with that thing? Yeah, why not? You too big to be sleeping with stuff like that. I am not. If you slept with a warrior space soldier, maybe you wouldn't have nightmares either. I'll keep that in mind. Good night, little dude. Good night, Andy. All right, so now we have a bigger gap right here on the page, which means it's switching scenes, okay? So that was Andy and Monty before bed. Now this is going to be Andy and his girlfriend Keisha on the phone. Hello, may I speak to Keisha? Hi, Keisha, what you doing? Nothing much. Finishing up my homework and thinking about you. Oh, yeah? Good stuff? Yeah, mostly. Like what? Like how much fun you can be sometimes. Like how patient you are with Monty. Like how things brighten up when you're smiling. You ever think bad stuff about me? Sometimes. I mean, sometimes I worry about you. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I worry about myself, too. How come? Like, for instance, I look at Monty and his future's so bright. He's cute and he's smart. He'll be a doctor or a lawyer someday. I can tell. But me, I don't see me being nothing in the future. You mean you see yourself as one of those straight people with no place to go? No. I mean, I don't see myself at all. When I think about the future, all I see is a blank and darkness. That's depressing. What do you see for me in the future? You gonna be the first black woman something or other. If there ain't one yet, you gonna be it. You're crazy. And don't you see yourself with me as the husband, or maybe the secret lover, of the first black woman something or other? No, I don't. I don't know where I'll be, but I'm not there with you. I'm not anywhere. Very strange. Your visions of the future. What about the near future, like next Friday? That far I can see. Do you see us getting together? I see us at a movie. I see us at Mickey D's for burgers. I see us making passionate love in the moonlight. I think your crystal ball is cracked. But 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Which 2 are right? Get off the phone, silly dude. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, Keisha. You know I like talking to you on the phone. Why? Because you don't make fun of me when I start talking off-the-wall stuff. And you listen to whatever foolishness I got to say. That's because I like you, Andy, and I care about you. You're something special, you know? That's what all the fellas say. Girl, get out of here. Talk to you tomorrow. Okay, Andy, bye. You going to sleep now? Yeah, my head is on the pillow, and I'm going to fall asleep thinking about you. Then I guess you'll have sweet dreams. Good night. Night, Keisha. All right, so now we have another space. So we are moving into a different scene. Andy, why are you sleeping in that soft, warm bed with the fresh blue pillowcases? I'm cold, Andy. Can I borrow a blanket? Who's there? Who said that? It's me, brother, your main man, Roberto. And yes, I'm cold. Very cold. It's no fun being dead. I'm sorry, Rob. You know I didn't mean to hurt you. Understood, my man. But when are you coming to keep me company? Me? We could play some one-on-one. You know I always could beat you. What are you talking about? You want me to be dead? Yeah, man. With you dead, it'll be live. Wait a minute. Does that make sense? None of this makes sense. What do you want, Robbie? I want you, Andy. You. Ain't no black folks in this part of heaven that I've been assigned to, and I'm bored. What? Computer fouled up. Since my last name is Washington, they put me in the section with George and Martha. Nice folks, but boring. George even never heard of basketball, and Martha keeps asking why there ain't no slave quarters in heaven. So I spend most of my time, which, by the way, is an eternity, bringing them up to date on American history. And you know I slept through most of Killian's class, so I'm running out of things to tell him. Rob, you're driving me crazy. None of this makes any sense. I must be dreaming. Sure you're dreaming. You know if you had a teenage warrior space soldier with you, I couldn't be bothering you. They're pretty powerful, you know. You mean Monty was right? Sure, and tell him he's also right about dreams. It's true. Black folks do dream in color. Big dreams need technicolor. So when you coming? I can't, Rob. Please leave me alone. It's all your fault, you know. All your fault. You got the beer. You drove the car. You smashed into the wall. You killed me. And now you gotta come and keep me company. No, I swear I didn't mean to. It was an accident. A horrible, horrible accident. I'm waiting for you, Andy. I'm waiting. No, no, no. Get out of here. Leave me alone. And then next scene, now he's getting shook and awake. Andy, are you okay? What's the matter, Monty? Why are you in here? You were screaming. Did you have a bad dream after all? A bad dream? Yeah, I guess so. I'm okay now. You want my teenage warrior space soldier? I got two. Rocket Man is the most powerful, but Astro Man has the most weapons. Hey, just to make you happy, I'm going to take Rocket Man, okay? Now go back to bed. I'm sorry I woke you up. Good night, Andy. Good night, Auntie. And thanks. All right, so there's a lot of crazy stuff that happened in that chapter. So on our handout right here, what we need to fill out, first of all, who are the characters in this chapter? So we had a few, because we had a couple different scenes. So the first scene was between Andy and his little brother. So Andy and Monty. Then we had a phone call. Who was that between? It was Andy and his girlfriend, Keisha. And then things got even weirder, and it took us into Andy's dream. And so that was Andy and Rob. And so that is the next grouping right here. All right? Then this box says, what does Andy say or do that causes people to be concerned? So there's a lot in here because we can look at each section. So when he is having the first conversation with Monty, what is he talking about with Monty? What are they having a conversation about? And that's what I want you to put here. Then I want you to think, when he was on the phone with Keisha, what disturbing thing did he say to Keisha that like made her be like, what do you mean? Because she was asking him how, like, what do you see for yourself in the future? And us together, don't you see me as your husband? And he said no, right? He couldn't even see himself at all in the future. He just saw what? And I want you to put that there. Then the last part, what was his dream about? It's not a normal dream, right? He definitely had a nightmare. So what was his nightmare about? And that's what I want you to add. Then this last box right over here, it says, what do the characters do to react to Andy? So what did someone offer to like do to help him? So what did Monty give him in the end of that chapter to be like, oh, take this and you won't have any more nightmares? So he was like a really sweet little 6-year-old. And so I want you to write what Monty gave him in this box. All right? So that finishes that chapter. So the next one we're going to read is super short, and it's A Letter of Remembered Joy. Sorry if you can hear the drums. I got the band outside behind me. Okay, so I'll go ahead and turn to page 103. So when Andy went to the psychologist a couple chapters back, he told Andy, you should write a letter to Rob's parents as kind of a way to like get out some of your emotions, right? You don't even have to send it if you don't want to. Maybe they won't read it, who really knows? But it might help just to kind of like put it on paper, okay? So this is his letter that he wrote to Rob's parents, his mom and dad. So a letter of remembered joy, Andy's letter to Rob's parents, January 18th. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Washington, if I stood on my head and stripped butt naked in the middle of Fountain Square screaming, I'm sorry, as loud as I could, it still wouldn't be enough. How can you tell the parents of your best friend that you're sorry that you killed their son? There's no words to cover something that awful. I know you must hate me. I wish there was some way I could have traded places with him. You know, like I should have died and Rob should be okay. I dreamed about Rob a couple of nights ago. It made me start to thinking about stuff we used to do together. So instead of writing, I'm sorry about what happened 6,000 times on a sheet of notebook paper, like the teachers used to make us do in elementary school when we were bad, I decided to write you this letter to help you remember the good stuff instead of the bad. I hope this gives you some comfort, and I hope one day you can start to forgive me. These are my memories of Rob. So on page 104, just so you know, make sure you're following along. These are my memories of Rob. I remember spending the night at your house and staying up all night watching cable, eating the pizza that we ordered at 3 a.m., going for ice cream after practice, even though you always said you weren't going to stop, but you always did. Playing basketball with a rolled-up sock and a wastebasket in Rob's bedroom, ignoring you and laughing when you said to cut out all that noise. Finishing off 2 extra-large boxes of Frosted Flakes with ease during those small after-school snacks. Riding in the back seat of your station wagon, all dressed up and nervous, the night me and Rob double-dated for the freshman dance and you had to drive us because we didn't have our licenses yet. Sitting in your backyard in the summer, eating barbecue and listening to stories from Rob's grandpa about down home. Going to Kings Island with you on your family discount day and riding the Beast 47 times in a row. Driving backward through the drive-thru at McDonald's and getting in trouble and having to call you. Not for driving backward, but because we were so busy being silly, we forgot we didn't have enough money to pay for the hamburgers. Getting chicken pox, both of us, in the 8th grade and staying at your house for a week because we couldn't go to school. Eating spaghetti at your house on Saturday night and having worm slurping contests to see who could suck the longest piece of spaghetti. Seeing you in the stands during all our basketball games, knowing that you'd always be there, and feeling good about that, even if we lost. Wishing that I could be a part of your family because you seem to have something that my family didn't. Those are some of the things I remember about you, your family and Rob. I will always treasure those days, and I will never forgive myself for destroying something very special. I hope that someday you'll be able to forgive me. But if not, I hope you'll be able to remember without so much pain. Yours, Andy. All right, that's a very sweet letter. So on your handout, what we need to do, so it already says right here, a letter of remembered joy. Who are the characters mentioned in this chapter? It's Andy and who else? So add that here. What does Andy say or do that causes concern? So for this one, I actually want you to go back to page 103. So on this page, in here somewhere, I want you to find what he actually says and copy it down directly, and you put quotation marks at the beginning and the end because you copied it from the book. So I want you to write down one sentence that he wrote on page 103 that's kind of concerning. And that goes in this box. All right, and then the box right here, I already put N/A, which means not applicable, because this one says how other characters react, and we don't know how they reacted, because although he sent the letter to his parents, we don't really even know if they read it or what they thought after they read it. There's not information, okay? So you don't need to do that one. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and turn to the next page on your handout. All right, and we have 2 more chapters that we're going to go through. So we are going to start out with Out, Brief Candle on page 106. All right, this is also a really short chapter. So page 106, this is where we're going to pick up. And so to set the stage, this is, they're at school. They're in English class right now. So it's the teacher and Andy and then a bunch of his classmates, which we'll recognize a lot of their names as they're talking. And so it kind of like goes back and forth between different characters because they're having a discussion like we do in class. And they're talking about a story called Macbeth, which is a story that you guys will study in 11th grade English. So what you need to know about it is basically Macbeth and his wife are both murderers. They both end up going crazy. His wife commits suicide in the story, and Macbeth ends up eventually dying. So it's a very crazy literary tale, okay? But obviously they're studying it right now in English. So we'll pick up right here, all right? All right, class, we've almost finished our study of Macbeth. We've watched Macbeth change from a noble, trusted, dedicated soldier, willing to sacrifice his life for king and country, to a wretched, depraved, corrupt murderer who no longer has feelings of guilt or morality. It's a fascinating study of the degeneration of the human spirit. So ask yourself real fast, too, the words wretched, depraved, are those compliments or more of an insult? Definitely an insult, All right, so when she says it's a study of the degeneration of the human spirit, basically it's a story of how one man like crumbles into nothing. Miss Blackwell, does he die in the end? Well, Marcus, he's just about dead inside, isn't he? Already. He's got one little spark left, his refusal to surrender to Macduff and the forces of good. But don't you think his death is inevitable, Marcus? Meaning, don't you think his death is going to happen anyway, no matter what? And then Marcus says, yeah, he deserves to die. He killed his best friend. He killed women and children. He killed the king. Yeah, I'd say my man deserves to die. Okay, what about his wife? Does she deserve to die too, Mary Alice? Well, it was originally her idea. If it hadn't been for her, Macbeth never would have killed the king in the first place. Women have that power over men, you know. Right, Keisha? Right on, girl. Now you talking. Oh, you wish. You living in La La Land, lady. Okay, Gerald. That'll be enough. Keisha and Mary Alice have a right to their opinions too, you know. But Lady Macbeth, who seemed so strong at the beginning of the play, had a rather rapid mental deterioration. Remember she was walking and talking in her sleep and washing her hands uncontrollably? She finally cannot stand the pressure of the guilt and kills herself. Kills herself? What a wimp! I'm disappointed. I thought she was pretty cool for a while there. Sorry, Keisha. She takes the coward's way out by committing suicide and leaves Macbeth to face the end alone. But you must remember that she was a murderer. I don't think Shakespeare meant for her to be a hero. That's where we'll start today, where Macbeth learns of his wife's death. Open to page 222, Act 5, Scene 5, line 16. Anthony, would you read, please? So I'm on page 108. We're seeing it right now. And this is just a little excerpt, a little piece from Macbeth. The queen, my lord, is dead. She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow. Creeps in this pretty pace from day to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player, that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Now they're back to their conversation in class. Now let's see what Shakespeare is talking about here. What is he saying about life, BJ? He says life is too short, and then you die, and on top of that, life don't really mean nothing anyway. But I think the only reason that he was so depressed was because he had been the cause of so much death that he couldn't find nothing else good about living. That's a wonderful observation, BJ. See, Shakespeare isn't so bad. You're doing a great job of figuring out what's going on. Andy, what do you think about these lines? Andy, where are you going? What's wrong? Someone, please go check on him. He seemed pretty upset. Keisha, Tyrone, go out in the hall and make sure he's all right. Okay, class, let's go on. So, pause. What did Andy just do at the end of class? He just got up and walked out. So, odd behavior, definitely. So, right here on our handout, so we just read out, out, brief candle. Who is involved in this chapter? So, I want you to list all of the character names that are in this. So, you got teacher, the Andy, and everybody else. So, make sure you get all the names. Right here. What does Andy do or say that causes concern? So what behavior does Andy show in this chapter that's concerning? And then right here, what do the other characters do to help Andy or to support him? And I want you to put that in this last box. All right? So we're going to do one last chapter together. So turn to page 110. And we're going to read, it's called Bologna Sandwiches and Bad Breath. All right, so after this chapter, we will wrap up this handout and you'll be done with this worksheet, okay? So bologna sandwiches and bad breath. Lunch and a visit to the counselor. February 4th. So again, we got a lot of character dialogue going on because you can see all those lines at the beginning. So we're in the lunchroom, so we have multiple characters and they're all talking to each other. Hey BJ, what's up? what you got for lunch? Nothing much, Tyronio. Probably bologna again. I hate bologna sandwiches. Don't you make your own lunch? My mama told me a long time ago, Tyrone, if you want lunch, you better make it yourself, 'cause I got more important things to do. Nah, man, my mama loves me. She takes the time each morning to make me a nutritious, delicious luncheon. Yeah, bologna sandwiches. Hey, Andy, put your tray right here. You have to sit down when to BJ. He's got bologna and mustard again. Where's Keisha? She went to the library to get a book for a report she's got to do. She'll be down in a minute. Tyrone, where's Rhonda? She's got a chemistry lab to finish. I do admire intelligent women. Say, Andy, remember when Rob was trying to go to that exchange with that exchange student from Hong Kong because she was so good in math? Remember how hey, leave Rob out of this. He's dead, okay? I get sick and tired of you two always talking about Rob, like you're trying to bring him back or something. What are you trying to do? Make sure I don't forget that I'm alive and he's dead? Okay, you've made your point. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. He's still dead. Do you hear me? I'm out of here. Man, I don't know how to deal with this. It seems like he ought to be getting better, but he seems to be getting worse. I still have bad dreams about that night, but I'm learning to live with it. Andy keeps freaking out. Yeah, BJ, I don't know where you coming from. Maybe we should talk to his parents or something. Nah, man, that's like talking to his bologna sandwich. Wait a minute, I got an idea. Isn't old Lady Thorne always saying stuff like we should come talk to her in the counselor's office if we ever have a problem? Yeah, but I can't stand her. Me neither. But she's got to know somebody who can give Andy help. That's her job, isn't it? So Andy stormed out of the lunchroom, and so now these two are talking, Tyrone and BJ, trying to figure out how they could help him. So I'm on page 112. You're right. Let's get over there before the bell rings. So we have a little gap in space, so now this is another scene. So they're in the counselor's office right now. I certainly am glad that you boys have come expressing your concern for your friend. What seems to be the problem? Well, Miss Thorne, Andy seems depressed all the time and gets mad at us for no reason. Sometimes he starts crying. A couple of weeks ago, he ran out of English class because we were reading a play about some dead white guy. It was Macbeth, stupid. Anyway, Andy only seems happy when he's with Keisha or when he's acting weird. And we didn't know who else to talk to. Now, it's perfectly understandable that Andrew is having a difficult time adjusting to Robert's death. That was a very traumatic experience. For all of you, I might add. His behavior is really not out of the ordinary. Anger, depression, even tears are all positive signs that he is in the process of working it out. If he didn't show any of these signs, then we would be concerned. But it seems like he needs help or something. Well, I probably shouldn't tell you boys this, but he is getting some outside help, outside counseling. I tell you this in the strictest of confidences, because you seem to be so genuinely concerned. So you boys can relax and be assured that he is getting whatever help he needs. Well, thanks, Miss Thorne. Thank you, boys. Andrew should be proud to have such good friends. Oh, if she called me boy one more time, I was going to smack her. When you do, smack her in the mouth. Her breath be kicking. All right, so that's the end of our chapter. So what you need to write in here on your handout, bologna sandwiches and bad breath. Who is involved? Who are all the characters mentioned in the chapter? What did Andy do that was really concerning behavior? And what did the characters in the chapter do to help or support Andy? So once you have all of that filled in, I want you to turn to the very back of your handout, and there's 2 questions that I want you to answer for me on the back. 2 questions. I'll go ahead and write them in here before I send this home with you. But question number 1, I want you to tell me. Just left my brain. Hold on. Question number 1. Okay, so some people think Andy's totally fine and like this is normal, the grieving process he's going through, and then some people, like his friends, are really concerned about his behavior. So I want you to tell me, number 1, do you think Andy is dealing with death in a normal way? What's your opinion on that? And number 2, if you were one of Andy's friends, would you be concerned by the behavior that you're seeing or not? And I want you to explain why. Okay? So next week, Zaquan, when I have a chance to put more lessons together with everyone in class, I'll send you a few more videos and directions to make sure that you are absolutely caught up before you get back to us. So make sure that you complete all of the chapters up until this point. And I hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving whenever you see this video. It might be before or after, depending on when you're working on it. But we're excited to have you back. We definitely missed your face, so get this done and make sure you're all caught up, okay? See you later.